Rich Waterman here. I wanted to explain a bit more about this Gym of Richness group and why I created it and also what I'm going to be putting into it. So, it was originally created actually during lockdown to help people kind of deal with the experience of lockdown, sometimes being isolated, maybe not having work they can do anymore, a lot of anxiety, stress, so on and so forth. Since then, it's evolved somewhat. So, my content primarily is aimed at high performers that want to create an extraordinary six-figure business through coaching, speaking, and mentoring. But there's many elements to that, so I thought I'd explain a bit more the sort of content I'm creating and also why I'm going to create that. And one of the ways that I'm going to do that is to hopefully share a screen with you in terms of um, showing you my what's called my genius model. This doesn't mean I'm a genius. There's a guy called Simon Bowen in Australia um, has created this thing called the genius model. It just explains what I do a bit easier. So in this group, every week I'm going to be into a kind of a rhythm of sharing tools, sharing insights, giving you sort of downloads, workbooks you can work with, and also going live on the subject as well. So last week I did a whole series of content around gifted referrals, which is ways for coaches, consultants, mentors to create leads in an organic way rather than a sleazy way. So you can see a guide on that if you look in the group. My model is is based around three primary things. So the first one is you as a coach. And so this is about you, your well-being, but also you being you more, because actually that's massively useful if you do have a speaking, coaching, or mentoring business, or you want to create one. Regardless, the three things we focus on in terms of content there are past. You can see I haven't got the best writing in the world. That's okay. Past, present, and future. Okay. If you want to take this further than the content I'm going to post in this group, just so you know, this whole bit, that circle, I've got a group called the Mindset Toolbox where I put loads of stuff in there for you to use. It's £50 a month, £500 up front if you want to join that for a year. If you're thinking more about business stuff, then either use stuff in this group for free, or if you're at any point you think, John, I'd like some more help with this, then just drop me a line. I'll put a link actually in the group as well, Gym of Richness group, so you can book a calendar call with me if you want to talk about your business more. Because the business has kind of two more bits added to that. So the first one is your community. So that's kind of like the groups, the communities, the areas in which you express yourself into, and that's got three elements, which is the why and purpose. That's kind of like really what is life about for you. That's important for two reasons. Because first of all, it keeps you going. 'Cause it's quite a lonely job being an entrepreneur or a business owner, and also second of all, primarily it's your differentiator. It's why people want to work with you, because you're different to other people who have different whys and purposes. So that's cool. I shall talk about authentic connection with your community. How do you do that? How do you be you? And then to make this all work as a business, you talk about leads and sales. That's why last week I talked about gifted referrals, because it's one of the hardest things to do as a coach or consultant or whatever you want to call yourself, is generate high quality leads. And there's a system called gifted referrals that I put into the Gym of Richness group. Once you've generating leads and sales, you've got to think about the work, like how are you actually going to provide value to people that are paying you, and actually making sure you get that right is very, very important. I'll explain why in a second. So I call this your work, and I normally split this out into, because this is what I do, is coaching, speaking, and mentoring. I'll explain that just a little bit more. Speaking can be anything from creating videos, creating content, doing stuff live, doing a live webinar, live stream, um, videos, all the way to live speaking. It depends what your thing is, but I think if you're good at it, it helps a lot with a speaking, coaching, and mentoring business. Coaching kind of says what it is on the tin. You'll have a different styles of coaches. I'm more of a teachy mentoring coach than probably a pure question coach. Mentoring is often the easiest place to start, which is just sharing your knowledge and teaching people stuff. Okay. Now, if you get all this right, this is what I'm going to be sharing in the Gym of Richness group. It's an authentic expression of you into your community. The connection between leads and sales and what you actually do is aligned. Um, and the you delivering stuff, you delivering value to your play clients feels like flow, or maybe even the word effortless. There's always a certain amount of effort, right? But it just kind of feels effortless, right? Where it goes wrong for a lot of people, because I've been doing this for I don't know how many years now, over a decade for myself, is sometimes there seems to be a disconnect between you and you expressing yourself out there, and that often shows up as being incongruent. So like, I'm not being me anymore, or I feel like I can't be me for it to work. That's nonsense. But I get the feeling because I felt there too. If there's not a link between what you're putting out there and your work, then you can experience a disconnect. And if how you um, deliver your work isn't aligned with who you are and what's important to you in life, what your values are, you can experience burnout. Why am I mentioning all these? Because I've experienced all of them. Okay, so I've basically taken a decade of learning to get this right. So I'm going to be putting week by week, putting in different topics that work around this genius model. So feel free to use them and develop your own yourself and your business. If you want to look at primarily yourself, that's this bit here, which is the mindset toolbox I talked about. If you go to richwaterman.com, you can find out more about that. If you want to develop the whole thing, which is you and you creating a business based on speaking, coaching, and mentoring, in other words, all of that, that's where this comes in, which is be the difference today in business. It's a mastermind that I run. It's a 6 monthly cycle. We work on all of that, work on developing you, developing your business. It's by invitation only. So if you're interested in that, then drop me a message and I'll book in a call with you and see if I'm a good fit for you and also whether you're a good fit for me. That's it. Cheers. Bye for now.